Okay, time is 8 p.m. now. Let us begin this evening Sutta Studies by paying homage to the Supreme Buddha. For this, we all recite Namo Tassa 3 times. May these venerations to the Supreme Buddha help us understand the Dhamma and practice it well until we reach to the final emancipation. Sadhu, sadhu, sadhu. Namo tassa bhagavato arahato samma sambuddhassa. Namo tassa bhagavato arahato samma sambuddhassa. Namo tassa bhagavato arahato samma sambuddhassa. I pay my homage to the Blessed One, the Worthy One, the fully enlightened one. Sadhu, sadhu, sadhu. Dhamma friends who join with us here at the temple, and also friends who join with us through different medias, you are warmly welcome for today's Sutta Studies. Today is Saturday, September 14th. We are going to hold this Sutta discussion with a new Sutta today. Perhaps you have gone through the Sutta already and understand the content. Even if you did not, it's fine. We can get into the content of the discourse and realize the Dhamma in the discourse as the Buddha explained. Today, the sutta we selected is from Anguttara Nikaya, the numerical discourses of the Buddha, and the section is 6. This sutta is called the Sona Kolivisa Sutta. Simply, it is Sona Sutta, but when you get this title Sona Sutta, you find I think few suttas by the same name, but the person we are talking about in those suttas would be different. So Sona Sutta is a wonderful discourse to discuss the Dhamma which is necessary for our practice. Anguttara Nikaya section number 6, sutta number 55. This sutta is because of a practical issue that monk Sona faced with. So the Buddha gives solutions for it. Therefore, this sutta would be very interesting for people who practice meditation and find difficulties. It is better for us to read the sutta first and understand the content. Before it, I just want to tell you that this sutta is emphasized by many scholars for many reasons, such as the Buddha's the supremacy in giving instructions to disciples. Even Venerable Sariputta, the foremost for wisdom, was unable to give good instruction for some monks because the subject of giving instruction is difficult. If you want to give 100% accurate instruction for disciples, you would be able to read the character types of those disciples you are counseling. Otherwise, you might be wrong in some cases. That's why even Venerable Sariputta was wrong with some disciples or some students of him. So he was able to take them to the Buddha and get the help from the Buddha for giving very accurate instruction. And the famous story of Chulapantaka, Venerable Chulapantaka was with his brother Mahapantaka. The Mahapantaka was an arahant, but Chulapantaka was an ordinary monk. For 6 months, Venerable Mahapantaka was trying to teach his younger brother Chulapantaka a verse but Julapantaka was unable to keep that in mind. This shows how difficult the giving instructions to another person. Even if you are an enlightened person, you may not be able to do it sometime if you cannot read the others' character types. And in addition, the Buddha was able to read the minds of others with the knowledge of Cheto Pariyaya. So that's why Buddha was able to read how much the spiritual faculties developed of this particular person. Then he is able to find the right solution. So this is one of the suttas that Buddha reminded the particular monk about what he was doing as a layperson and the experience he got from something during the lay life was taken to the present solutions to give a very good meditative subject. So let's read the sutta now. And remember this sutta by its name or by its story, so that you would definitely incorporate it into your practice, especially when you find difficulties in meditation. Thus I have heard, uh, this is Venerable Ananda's statement. At one time the Buddha was staying on Mount Vulture's Peak at Rajagaha. It's called Rajgiri today. At that time, Venerable Sona was dwelling in the cool forest, Sitavana in Pali, near Rajagaha. So there are few places near Rajagaha where monks and even the Buddha lived for some time. Rajgiri is a busy city. In and around it, there are a few places that mendicants go and reside for some time. So one of them is cool forest or Sitavana. Maybe that area, tends with trees and water. So that's why this name came from, cool forest. While the Venerable Sona was long in retreat, this thought arose in his mind. So it is better for us to understand the character of the of Venerable Sona too. Sona Kolivisa Thera, his nickname was Sukumala Sona. Sukumala is a Pali word for someone who has very tender physical body, very the body that is grown under luxury. So your skin is so thin and rosy color, and you haven't experienced any difficulty in bringing up so that you are going to be a Sukumala, like you have grown with luxury. In the commentary, it is said clearly that Venerable Sona, as a boy, was spent a very luxurious life. They are from Champa. The city at that time was Champa. I don't know where it is now in India. His father was a millionaire. At that time, millionaire means a very wealthy person. There's a book in the Tripitaka called Apadana. They are all. It is about the characters of all great disciples. In that book mentioned that Sona has different names, but Sona is always there. The second part was different from each other. Due to one of the interesting thing he did was he gave off a huge sum of money. It is said in the commentary that 20 crores he gave up just because he wanted to become a monk. The great commentator Buddhaghosa, Venerable Buddhaghosa, also mentioned about this particular Bhikkhu Sona. In the Vinaya and in the Sutta, both talks about this particular monk. It is said that uh, King Bimbisara, uh, gave up. Kim Bimbisara did a lot of meritorious deed with the advice of the Buddha, and actually Kim Bimbisara was a Sotapanna, first stage of enlightened person when he died. Uh, while King Bimbisara nursed the Buddha with a lot of monks, um, the Sona, as a young person, saw these wonderful things. One of the things happened uh, at the time of King Bimbisara was a disciple of the Buddha called Sagatha did some miracles in front of the Buddha. Uh, the Buddha didn't do any miracle, but his disciple called Sagata, sorry, did a Sagata was attendance to the Buddha for some time. This is before Venerable Ananda was appointed for the work. This Sagata Bhikkhu was the attendance to the Buddha. So um, Sagata did some miracles and in front of the Buddha. Then everybody became so impressed about the Buddha, because if people told that if the student can do this much of miracle, how could the Buddha do that? So that people became so impressed about the Buddha, and one of the person who was there was Sona. So having seen this wonderful thing, he not only when refused to the Buddha, he also thought of becoming a monk, because he realized that the teaching of the Buddha could be fully practiced by being a monk. So that's why he was able to let go of that 20 crores. Yeah. So that's his wealth. Uh, this is coming from the commentary. Uh, Sona mostly stays in Rajaga. As soon as he became a monk, he didn't go he didn't go to various places for meditation, but he stayed near Rajagaha, Rajgir, and the Buddha's. He got the faith on what he was actually heard, and got the permission from parents, and became a monk. And he was meditating with some instructions from somebody. So he was doing walking meditation, he was doing sitting meditation, he was doing standing meditation, most of only walking meditation, because he liked it. But it is said that he failed in walking meditation, in other meditation, nothing special, especially happened to his mind, even in meditation, even though he tried many meditations, many hours of the day for meditation. It is said in the commentary that his feet bleed so badly that the meditation walkway called Chankamana. When you go to a forest monastery, you see these the place for walking. It's around 25 feet long, well-made path to walk, and that walkway is covered with some bloods, like a slaughterhouse for buffaloes. So this shows that Venerable Sona's feet were bleeding because he was walking non-stop. He thought that I am one of the disciples of the Buddha who practice meditation into a greater extent, but I didn't experience anything. And he thought that I should go back to lay life and do some merits. Perhaps I don't get anything special as experience because of lack of merits. So that's what the commentary itself says. So let's read the sutta now. Yeah. So the right after the introduction of the sutta, we can find that statement as a summary. I am one amongst the Buddha's disciples who dwell, putting forth effort. Yet my mind is not liberated by non-clinging for the mental influxes. So when you talk about your attainment to full enlightenment or other stages of enlightenment, you are always doing that with the asava, with the influxes, with the fermentation. So what you are removing from your mind is called asava, the kilesa, the defilements. So the amount of defilement you remove decide which stage you attain to. So he said that depending on the effort I took so far should take me into one of the stages of enlightenment, but it didn't happen. This is because of not having much merits in my account. So what now if I give up the training and return to the low life? Low life means lay life. So compared to monastic life, lay life is low life, because the training principles the monks and nuns have is much than the lay people. So that's how it should be meant. Enjoy. So he thought that I should go back and do while I'm staying as a layperson, I can cultivate some merits. Then the Buddha, knowing by his own mind, the mind of Venerable Sona, just as a strong man would stretch his bent arm or bend his stretched arm, disappeared from Mount Vulture Peak and appeared right before Venerable Sona in the cool forest near Rajaga. So this is something that the Buddha could do. We don't see that arahants who had skills did this miracle. Only the Buddha did that. The Buddha was at there are 5 mountains around Rajgir, like Pandava, Isigili. This is called Isigili, Vulture's Peak. So then Vebara, Pandava, Isigili, Vebara, I can remember the other 2. So there are 5 mountains in Rajgir. So each of these mountains gave shelter for the Buddha and monks and also other mendicants. So so the Buddha was at the Vulture's Peak mountain top, and he saw Venerable Sona is thinking of going back to lay life. So for some reason, Buddha was able to help Venerable Sona. I think when you read the discourse, Venerable Sona had that skills coming from his birth, that he's able to attain to full enlightenment. So then only Buddha help. Suppose Venerable Sona didn't have that fortune in his account, I don't think Buddha Buddha does that kind of help, because there is no point. If you are not ready, even Buddha cannot help you. So then we see that appearing in front of Venerable Sona through by using his psychic power was something interesting here. Then Venerable Sona, the one who faced that particular incident, doesn't know that whether the Buddha came to him through walk or psychic power. That is something that we need to keep in mind. So it is venerable. The Buddha always promised Venerable Ananda to tell whatever he did when without the presence of Venerable Ananda. So the Buddha told Venerable Ananda that I went to Venerable Sona in this way when he thought this and that, and this is what I told him, this is what I instructed him, and so on. So everything was related to Venerable Ananda by the Buddha at some point of their conversation. So Buddha had delivered Venerable Ananda. That's why Venerable Ananda says this. I went there, and Venerable Sona was struggling with this particular thought. Then I said Venerable Sona, there Venerable Sona, having saluted the Buddha, sat down to one side, seated thus at one side. The Buddha said to Venerable Sona, now Sona, when you were along in retreat, in meditation, did this thought arise in your mind? Yeah. So did you have a thought like this? What is the thought? I am now amongst the Buddha's disciple who dwell putting forth effort. Yet my mind is not liberated by non-clinging from the mental influxes. Now my family is wealthy. So the repetition is there. So simply the Buddha asked from Venerable Sona, did you think to go back to lay life because of failing from your meditation? Venerable Sona said yes. After this, the Buddha's instruction came out with the parable of the veena. Veena is a particular Indian instrument, musical instrument. Perhaps it's a big one, right? Like, so in one edge you have a pot-like things, and then you have long, something like this. Then on top you have some kind of knock-like thing. So it's a big one. Perhaps sometime you cannot handle it alone unless you practice, right? That's called veena. So the parable of the veena is coming out just to teach Venerable Sona the middle path of his meditation. Let's read. What do you think, Sona? Were you skilled in playing the veena? It's a lute. Before as a house dweller? Yes, Bante, I did. What do you think, Sona? When the string of your veena were too taut, it means too loose, right? Was your veena well tuned or easy to play? When it is not too tight, when it is too loose, you cannot make the music out of it as you plan. So Venerable Sona's answer was no, Bante. No, indeed, Bante, we cannot. What do you think, Sona, when the string of the veena were too, first one too tight, second one too loose? Yeah, in both occasions you cannot play the piano well because it's not the way you keep the string of the veena. What do you think, Sona? When the string of your veena were neither too taut nor too loose, but tuned to an even pitch, was your veena well tuned or good to play? Yes, Bante. Even so, Sona, if energy is put forth too forcefully, it will bring about restlessness. If the energy is too slack, it will bring about sloth or indolence. Therefore, Sona, apply your energy evenly and keep the spiritual faculties balanced, and therein grasp the sign. So, having said this parable of Veena, Buddha was able to bring the attention of Venerable Sona to a particular thing, because Sona, as a young person, was able to play Veena into a greater extent. So, relatedness of this parable to the Dhamma is working well here. If the Buddha talks about a computer, if the Buddha talks about archery, it doesn't make any sense for Venerable Sona. So the Buddha knew that this particular man was playing some musical instrument, particularly Veena, so that I should take examples from the Veena. So it works. So the effort we put in meditation should be in the middle. If we try too much, it doesn't work. Sorry, it doesn't work, because restlessness might come as a result of too much effort. I remember this, that when you look at your mind and when you look at your breath in a very speedy way, you're going to be really restless, because you're putting too much attention to your mind and some other things in your body together. Suppose you are worrying about certain things, so that you try your best to keep your mind away from those worrying things. Sometimes it doesn't happen either. So anyway, the idea is that don't put your physical energy too much on mental energy. When you put too much your mental energy on physical thing, either way it doesn't work. So we have to find the balance of the energy here. So restlessness might come if your effort is forceful, and drowsiness, sloth, and torpor might come if your energy is too slack, too simple. You are not putting your right effort enough, so that sleepiness might come. So we have to find the balance. This is very practical. Um, some days before we sleep, we feel that sleepiness is not coming, because our mind is so fast, and it makes thinking of a lot of things at once. So you are not sleeping there. So in the good framework, sometimes our mind is so kind and compassionate. You are so delighted, and so then you do not sleep either, because your mind is so busy. Even in happy state, your mind might be busy. So there you don't find that that particular control of your mind. So likewise, if effort, if the energy of our mind is too much, restlessness might arise. Therefore, you don't find any relaxation in your body and mind. If the energy is not into the level of something like meditation need, you're going to sleep. It happens at once. So Venerable, in the story of Venerable Stone, what we see was he was doing sitting meditation, then walking meditation a lot, and then changing the posture from sitting to from standing to sitting. So somehow he was unable to find that right tune of the meditation. We know from Buddha's Bodhisattva's experience that self-mortification is not the way to find the solutions for suffering. Giving torture to this body anyway is not recognized as a good practice. So when Venerable Son realized that his feet are hurting, he should be able to stop it, because it is not the right way to practice meditation. But he himself later says that I came to this order of monks with so much devotions to the Buddha, so much devotions to the Dhamma, so much devotions to the Sangha. Why this? Because of that, I should be enlightened soon. But why this is not happening? So the very reason was not from previous lives. Very reason is not because of anything he did in a couple of previous lives. The very reason is found over there. Too much mental energy. Too much mental energy makes people go wrong, and that's what happened, Venerable Sona. So the harm is dangerous, because if the Buddha was not there, he could be a layperson. As a layperson, he could attach to various things that many people attach to. So his path for enlightenment would be completely closed for long time. So anyway, he was so fortunate to get the attention of the Buddha and make changes in his life. So here, Venerable Sona was taught the very good lesson. Venerable Sona, the Buddha advised Venerable Sona, and disappeared from there and appeared in the same place he came from. So Venerable Sona, we see that Venerable Sona was able to awaken into reality. Venerable Sona in due course applied his energy evenly, kept the spiritual faculty balanced, and therein grasped the sign. This is a very important statement. Kept the spiritual faculties balanced. What are the spiritual faculties? There are five. Shraddha, Viriya, Sati, Samadhi, Panya. Shraddha is translated as the faith to the Buddha, Dhamma and Sangha, but I don't think it's the good word for Shraddha. It could be strong confidence on the Buddha's knowledge, Buddha's enlightenment, and the confidence on the Dhamma as right thing to practice, and the confidence on Sangha for what they have been doing and or what they have already done. So that is a kind of consideration after careful investigation, so that your your belief or your trust on the triple gem never change, because you yourself know that these three things are the right thing. So therefore, Shraddha is something something rational, something some ideas taken by rational thinking. Shraddha is always called supported by wisdom. So Shraddha is the first faculty. It represents area of a wholesome mind. It's mixed with other four qualities. Virya is the second one. It talks about the mental energy that hold Shraddha, Sati, Samadhi, Panya. So the Virya is the mental energy. Virya help us to keep the good things without change. That's called Shraddha. For example, suppose you are taking a dog out walking, and the dog is big. So when the dog is dragging you, you hold it tight. So that shows your physical energy. So you are not letting the dog run. So you hold the dog very tight and control. Likewise, when unwholesome things come, are supposed to arise, you do not let them come in. You do not you do not let these unwholesome things spread in your mind. So that's one of the right energies. And if you realize that your mind is in unwholesome state, you take brave steps to remove them immediately and use your mental energy. That is another right effort. So likewise, Virya is a mental energy that support the wholesome four qualities to stay like that and to improve their qualities, and at the same time the virya blocks unwholesome states. So that's called virya. And sati, everyone knows sati, mindful, right mindfulness. The duty of right mindfulness as a faculty is to see everything as they are. When particularly when the senses take their particular objects, for example, eyes, the form, ears, the sound, and so on. The mindfulness check all these: seeing, hearing, tasting, smelling, touching, and thinking. That's the duty of mindfulness there. And some samadhi is concentration. And when the mindfulness is doing the particular job along with the shraddha and virya, mind gets one pointedness. The quality of concentration is called one pointedness of the mind. If you look at the mind without concentration, it always going here and there. It always behind those sounds, pictures, smell, thinking, and so forth. It's busy. But when concentration is achieved, the mind doesn't go like that. Mind stays whatever the mind wants, whatever the person thinks. So that's called one pointedness. We have to be careful here because there is a wrong mindfulness, wrong concentration. The wrong concentration means your mind has attached to a particular object which is unwholesome. For example, robbing a wallet of somebody. So you are so mindful, concentrated on the person moves, nothing but you think only about that. That's called wrong concentration. So we have to distinguish the differences of wrong concentration and also right concentration. So that's called samadhi. And the last spiritual faculty of our mind, of our wholesome mind, is panya. Shraddha, virya, sati, samadhi, panya. Panya is a seed of our mind. Panya is developing when other qualities are developed. Panya, on the other hand, should be there in a certain level to even to think about other qualities. Shraddha is also coming out as it is because of panya. So panya indriya, panya faculty is a wonderful part of our mind. Without it, I don't think even concentration, virya, sati are not coming as they are. So it is said, when you keep the spiritual faculties balanced, so first you keep your energy level even. That means you do not let it very weak, and you do not put so much effort on it, so that your energy, spiritual energy, is in a good position. There you are able to let these 5 spiritual faculties develop into a greater extent, so that you are in a great positions to practice Indriya Sangvara. Indriya Sangvara is one of the basic training, but very important training for everyone. If you are able to be mindful about what is happening in seeing, hearing, tasting, smelling, and touching, and thinking, you have stopped most of the asvas that are coming in. So Venerable Sona was advised, apply your peaceful energy into the level it needs, then keep your spiritual faculties open and balanced, and then grasp the sign. Sign means whatever senses gives you. Then having this advice from the Buddha, Venerable Sona went to a silent place. Of course, where he was is also silent. He find the same place with so much spiritual support, and practice what the meditation based on the Buddha's new instruction, and for a short period of time, we don't know how long it was, he attained full enlightenment, because he was able to find the right tune of the Dhamma. That's mean he was able to develop the five spiritual faculties, and when the five spiritual faculties are developed together extensively, they are going to be powers. They are going to be huge force. That's why we have Panchabala. In this very life, entered and dwells in the unsurpassed goal of the holy life, for the sake of which son of family rightly go forth from the household life into homelessness. So whatever purpose he had in his mind when he left the household life, he was able to achieve it as a monk. He directly knew birth is destroyed, the holy life has been lived, done what had to be done, there is no more for this state of being. And the Venerable Sona became one of the Arhat, or enlightened person. Then it occurred to the Venerable Sona, who had attained Arhathood, let me now approach the Buddha and declare the final knowledge before him. So, as soon as Venerable Sona reached to the final stage of life, he realized himself that birth is done. It means that whenever the burning things in your mind are gone, you feel it. It's like this. When you feel cold, what do? You either wear a blanket or jacket, or you cover your body from something like that. After 1 minute, what do you feel? Yeah, you feel warm. Suppose you feel hot, like these days. So you go to a room where air conditioning is operated, and after 1 minute or 2 minutes, you feel, you feel fresh. You feel very nice. This shows that when the physical body is not having that pleasant attitude, we feel it, and when it is changed, we feel that. Similarly, when your mind is busy, you know it. When your mind is agitated, you know it. And when the mind is away from agitation, away from anger, away from frustration, restlessness, you feel that. The same way you understand that my mind has no any connections to a particular new birth after this, because I feel that is gone. So the arahantship, the knowledge about arahantship, is known to the particular person who did the practice into that extent. So this is how they say to the world: birth is destroyed, birth is done, kina jati. The holy life has been lived. There is nothing much you can do in the holy life, because holy life has been completed, and there is nothing to be done for attaining enlightenment, because I have done everything. So now I am liberated. It's a wonderful experience. For example, if you suppose you lost the way out of the forest, so out of somewhere, you are fearful about your life. You do not know where I am, and what do I have enough food, do I get enough support, is my life is in danger. So many things come to your mind. You become lunatic, you become so upset. But how about if you see somebody you know before, and he said that I will take you to your place, don't worry. Then what kind of feelings you would have? Suppose you lost your wallet and the traveling bag, carry-on luggage, when you go to your home country or somewhere. So you found that everything is gone. So you are so desperate, you don't even have your cell phone to call somebody. Somehow after 5 minutes, somebody come with all these belongings and say that is this yours? What kind of feelings you are going to have? So delighted, right? so respectful, so compassionate and happy. When you attain to full enlightenment with your own effort and realize that you attain to enlightenment, I think the feeling you get is unexplainable. It's so delighted, and the liberation, the mind that experience liberation has that kind of experience, I believe. So these are some of the tips of thinking about the enlightened mind. So Venerable Shona say to himself that I finished my training for enlightenment. Now I should go to my teacher, the Supreme Buddha, to pay my respect and express about my final, practice. Here, we can see from now in the sutta that an arahants dedicate for six things, or six things an arahant is dedicated to after this. Then the Venerable Sona approached the Buddha and saluted him. Having saluted him, the Venerable Sona said this thing to the Buddha: Bhante, a monk, an arahant, with mental influxes destroyed, having lived the holy life, done his task, laid down the burden, attained the goal, utterly destroyed the fetters of existence, is rightly liberated through direct knowledge, is intent on six things. So Venerable Sona said, simply this is what he said: the one who attained to arahantship is dedicated for six things. He is intent on renunciation, solitude, non-violence, the destruction of craving, the destruction of clinging, and non-confusion. So these are the six things he is dedicated for. Whatever the arahants did after attaining enlightenment is renunciation. Yeah. For we know from various sources about arahants that they never hang on to anything, any material thing. They have gone to that state of enlightenment because of renunciation, and they have been practicing it well. The renunciation means nekkhamma. So the particular characteristic feature of your life is leaving things from you. You don't want anything except some food to eat, except clothes to wear, and some medicines to drink, and some food to eat. They even do not think about how I'm going to eat tomorrow. If there is an arhan, he doesn't think about the way he should eat for tomorrow. He's not worrying about food for tomorrow, right? He's not worrying about how he is going to spend next month. Do I have will I have some accommodations? So no, he is not worrying about. This is what it means. That is because of renunciation and solitude. They always like solitude. They do not want to engage with frequent discussion, talking, no talk shop. He attend to. He wants to stay in solitude because his mind is so pure. His mind has liberated from, so he enjoys his mind very much. And then the non-violence. That means the one who attained to full enlightenment is fully compassionate. Then destruction of craving. It is being completely done. No craving at all in his mind. It's a pure mind. It's the mind of the arahants is like a net. So if suppose basketball net or football net or volleyball net, the wind cannot block. The wind is unable to block by those nets. Likewise, your mind is like a very open one, so that it doesn't get stuck with anything. Not only craving, Upadana, clinging also is done. So there is no confusion at all in his mind. So these six things are the things that arhants are dedicated to. So in the sutta we can have explanation, dedication to renunciation. It might be Bhante that a certain venerable here might think, could it be that this venerable is intent on renunciation on account of mere faith alone? But Bhante, it should not be seen thus. A monk who a monk whose mental influxes are destroyed, lived the holy life and done his task, does not see in himself anything more to be done, having and anything else to be added to what has been done. Since lust has been destroyed, his mind is rid of lust. He is intent on renunciation. Since hate has been destroyed, his mind is rid of hate. He is intent on renunciation. Since delusion has been destroyed, his mind is rid of delusion. He is intent on renunciation. So basically, lust, raga or lobha, hate, dosa, delusion, moha. These are the three root causes of suffering. They are all destroyed. They are all pulled out from the mind, so that his mind is always in renunciation. So the second is dedications to solitude. A monk whose mental influxes are destroyed, lived the holy life and done his task and so on, he doesn't see anything to be done with regard to solitude, because his mind is completely away from lust, hate and delusion. So solitude means viveka. Those who have three unwholesome root cannot be fully away from problems. Their mind could their mind could be busy at any time because of the seed of lust, hatred and ignorance. So when you remove them completely, the very nature of your mind is solitude. So the dedications to non-violence. In that particular monk's non-violence could be expected. There is no any violence. Even the suppose we make a kind of projection that arhants could be violent. No, it never happens. Even arhants are being killed. They are not going to make any violent act, because they have let go of attachment to self, no upadana, no any other unwholesome state of mind existing in their mind, so that they even face the killing killing by assassination with peaceful state of mind, according to Kakachupama Sutta. Not even arahants, even people who haven't gone that far would stay in calm and peaceful peace when they are targeted because of the nature of non-self. So that next one, dedications to the destruction of craving and dedications to the destruction of clinging. So it happens because the one who attain to full enlightenment definitely target these unwholesomeness. Tanha and upadana. Tanha is the nature of liking to those sensory experiences, and the upadana is at a strong grasp to those things that we like. So they are all gone, and after that the non-confusion is a quality of the arhants. He always is intent on the non-confusion. His mind is away from any confusion. Because of arhants, people might create confusion. It is a different story. So Venerable Sariputta and Venerable Moggallana as Arahants help others who are in darkness of ignorance very much, so that a lot of other religious people created anger on Venerable Sariputta and Venerable Moggallana. It could happen, but over any matter, Arahants never experience state of confusion, because that they have taken that confusion, the quality called confusion, out from their mind at the attainment to enlightenment. Uh, so then the Buddha in the Sutta, Venerable Sona talks about wise attention. This is very important too. Bhante, even if strong forms cognizable by the eye were to come within the range of the eye of one whose mind is thus rightly liberated, they would not overpower his mind. His mind, unmixed with them, remain attained to the imperturbable, and he contemplates on their passing away. This is very important. Wise attention means being able to observe the sensory experiences, particularly two occasions when they arise and when they pass away. Even at any difficult situation, even if it happens at a very fast pace, the Arahants can focus that, the rising of sensory experience and passing of. This is what we expect from Indriya Sangvara 100%. Only Arahants can actually, in my view, only Arahants can do that, but other people who aspires to be Arahants can do that into a great extent. But when Venerable Sona talks about this, he says, within the range of the eye of one whose mind is thus rightly liberated, they would not overpower his mind. So any sensory experience you get from you can look into it, because your right attention, your right view, your yoniso manasikara is more powerful than those sensory experiences, so that you can see them, the rising and passing of those things. So in the sutta you see the Venerable Sona talks about 6 senses and their sensory experiences, and what Arahants can do with regard to those sensory experiences. Similarly, of the Rocky Mountain is also coming into effect there. Venerable Sona says, suppose Bhante, there were a rocky mountain of singularly solid mass with neither cracks nor cleft. Now, even if strong wind blows, rain. Now, even if strong wind-blown rain were to come from the east, the west, from the north, from the south, this rock is not going to shake. Even so, Bhante, even if strong form cognizable by the eye were to come within the range of the eye of one whose mind is rightly liberated, they would not overpower his mind. So, in order to explain the Indriya Sangvara of the Arahants very much with an example, with a simile, Venerable Sona took the Rocky Mountain, the mountain that is very solid, is not shaken by the wind that blows from any direction. Likewise, the mind of the Arahant is not shaken by any sensory experience. Even his own father is slaughtered, mother is slaughtered in front of his eye. He is not going to create anger at all for these people who kill their own mother and father. We remember this from Nandamata Sutta from Anguttara Nikaya. The Nandamata, the mother of Nanda, was not shaken by the incident that his son was abducted by the army of the king. and in front of her, his son was dragged by the army to the palace, and later she came to know that the son was killed. But at any situation, her mind was not worried because he was an anagami. She was the third stage of enlightened person. So, by examples, we know that very spiritually advanced people can stay calm and peaceful when tragedy like that happen. That is because of their wisdom faculty developed. That is because of tanha and upadan are taken out from their mind. So at last we see from the discourse that Sona is uttering some verses to tell about his liberated mind, intent on they are all about those six things. So that is the end of the sutta. So this sutta about Sona's personal endeavor to enlightenment is a very good example for all of us. So at the beginning you might fail for your practice, but with clear instruction you might correct your path to enlightenment, and at some point you will realize everything you wanted. So Sona Sutta is like that. So I have been talking for 1 hour now. If our friends who join with us online can ask questions, or here we have Tiana Maitri and his mother for after long time. And if you have any questions, you can also ask. So the session is open for anyone for additions and comments and questions. So take your time. So when we talk about right effort, it could not be wrong if we understand how it is explained by the Buddha in the Noble Eightfold Path. In the Noble Eightfold Path, right effort is explained. In other set of noble qualities, it is also explained. Sangvara, Prahana, Bhavana, Anurakkhana is the simple way of explaining this right effort. Sangvara means you always put your effort to abandon unwholesome state of mind that sometime not yet arisen, that sometime you already done. So if you realize that my effort is not that right with regard to these particular behaviors, so you stop those behaviors because stopping all these negative behaviors is called right effort. So now right effort is always supported by right thinking and right mindfulness. That is what Mahachattarajika Sutta clearly says. So right effort is always geared by right thinking. And your right thinking is again representing the quality of doing right thing. Suppose you realize the unfortunate experience of old age, death, and suffering after reborning in unhappy places. So you realize all these things as negative things, as because of negative actions, negative thinking. So then you stop all these negative words, action, and thinking, and that is called bringing up wholesome state of mind forward. So that is also right effort. So Sangvara, Prahana, Bhavana, Anurakkhana, they are all taking us to a particular very safe state of mind where there is no unwholesomeness. So therefore, uh, uh, practicing right effort is always emphasized in the teaching. I can see one has raised uh, hands. Okay, that's okay. So unmute and talk. It's Dr. Neeta. You're still muted. Okay.
Vandami Bhante, I'm Smita here. I'm joining together with Neeta and Mama, but thank you for the sutta and explanation. I wanted to ask about the solitude you said that, like, after the Bhante Sona attained the arahantaship, that he take refuge in solitude. But we know from Buddha, he spent his life in spreading Dhamma
Yeah.
and meeting people and talking to people and giving discourses. So how to untangle that? Like, is it solitude meaning his continued practice, um, or there is a difference in that interpretation?
Okay. Very good. It's a very good question. Yes. Um, whether the Buddha or Arahants went to people for preaching Dhamma, they have a basic solitude in their mind always. Just because they didn't have craving attachment in their mind at all. So when your mind is completely free from craving, attachment, ignorance, you still talk to people, you still walk to the busy city. Your mind is uh, not touched by any of those hustle bustle busy nature of city. So basically your mind is in a state of peace and so on. With this we can understand that type of solitude exists in arahant's mind always, but time to time even the Buddha went to the forest for complete solitude. That is 100% silence. No, not even splitting a word with somebody. He stays for 7 days, 2 weeks, 3 weeks. Uh, when there is no one in front of the Buddha for any questions, the Buddha in few discourses say that I stay in Anapanasati Samadhi. Samadhi that is developed through in and out breathing. I used to go in and stay in that particular mind solitude because it makes my body and mind energized. It doesn't mean that the Buddha or the Arahants have to do something, but it is like they enjoy their liberated mind. So, answer to your question, the even if they go to help people with sermons, discussion, dialogues, their mind is not associating any state of unwholesomeness at all, so that their mind stays within the framework of solitude. But the graduated level of solitude could be experienced when they attain to first jhana, second jhana, third jhana, fourth jhana, and any other higher jhanas in the forest, in the sitting meditation. So solitude has different levels, but their mind is so pure as crystal at all time, because the seed of suffering dukkha is fully removed from their mind, so that the viveka, the Pali word viveka is translated as solitude, so they have complete viveka in their mind. That's why they are not having any confusion in explaining Dhamma. They are not getting angry because there were a lot of questions coming from the audience. Sometimes they were abused by words. They were not worried about them because their mind is like net, is like because the wind is not stuck there. So their mind is like lotus leaf. The water doesn't stick on lotus leaf. So because of that, clear nature of their mind, they don't get any upset. They don't get any problem at all. So their solitude is certain.
Vandami Bhante, thank you.
Yes, that's a very good question. So that this is why actually the Buddha instructed the arahants to go and explain the Dhamma for people, for living beings. When he addressed the first 60 arahants, Charati bhikkhave charikang bahujana hitaya bahujana sukaya attaya hitaya sukaya. Go forth from village to village, township to township, from country to country. Do not go two of you together. Just spread out and explain this Dhamma. That advice is applicable only for those who attain to at least first stage of enlightenment. For others, the advice from the Buddha was go to the forest, go to the empty huts, go under trees, and take a subject of meditation and practice meditation to cleanse your mind from hindrances first, and then with jhana experience, with samadhi in your experience, you can practice vipassana to pull out the seed of craving, seed of suffering. So if you take that advice from the Buddha, go and deliver Dhamma, it 100% it is 100% applicable for arahants. But if we state this message today, none of the lay people hear Dhamma from us. So in today's world, we have to understand the message of the Buddha. Okay, we should practice our own Dhamma based on Dhamma and Vinaya, and at the same time, we should help supporters, male and female, with the same experience we get, so that we go hand in hand in the Dhamma and Vinaya, and everybody is benefited. Yeah. Thank you so much for that questions. It's really appreciated. And if there is no one to add anything, I would end today's discussion, because tomorrow is a full day for us. We start the meditation for full moon day at about 8:30, and it goes until 6 p.m. Unfortunately, they are happening in Sinhala language. So we should get ready for that also. And today is a long day for me with so many activities. So I would end today's sutta discussion with this. The sutta we discussed today is Sona Sutta from Anguttara Nikaya section number 6. It talks about the Venerable Sona's endeavor to full enlightenment. He was not good at the very beginning because of his too much energy, mental energy towards enlightenment. So then Buddha intervened, and the Buddha showed him the middle path with right energy and other qualities. Soon Venerable Sona was able to be an arahant, and after attainment to arahantship, he was talking about the nature of arahant and what arahants appreciate, and what someone who is willing to gain arahantship should do. And that sort of sutta is Sona Sutta, and we kept that sutta for our theme sutta for today's sutta studies. Keep that in mind, and try your best to practice Dhamma and Vinaya for your enlightenment. Any merits we all accumulate from this sutta discussion should go to everyone who is in this sutta discussion, and parents of you should be were healthy and long lived by the power of the noble triple gem, and also merit from this sutta discussion. Finally, may we all attain supreme bliss of Nibbana by the power of this Dhamma. Sadhu, sadhu, sadhu.